Hello and welcome back to Reeling in the Peers, where we chat about and discuss all sorts of movies. My name is Gary O'Brien, and joining me as always for the monthly movie awards, it's my good friend and co-host, Mr. David Scanlon, as we present our awards to the films of September 2022. So stick around, we hope you enjoy. We don't have to keep this in. I wish I might do like a cameo. You know the cameo thing? You know, you pay celebrities to do a video.
Oh, right, yeah.
I might get one of them just to do the intro for the show. I don't like doing it. Imagine we got who's an impression I do?
Because your man
Jay from he's the worst millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we get him to do it.
Yeah. How much is it?
It depends on the celebrity. I was thinking imagine I know he's dead. But imagine getting Gilbert Godfrey. Welcome back to Reeling in the Peers! His name is Gary!
O'Brien? Is that right?
Oh, what if I get Rudy Giuliani? Hello, David. Welcome back.
Yeah, back, baby. Back for another monthly awards. Yeah. Hasn't been a good month, guys.
No. Okay. No.
It's been that, you know, end of summer kind of letdown.
Plateau.
Yeah. I would say, you know, hand me a guitar and call me Billy Joe Armstrong.
Why, David?
Because he should have woke me up when September ended.
So this month was effectively an onslaught of movies. There was so much fucking movies out this month. So which we're not talking about them all. Yeah. But we're talking about fucking enough of them.
Yeah.
But I would say none of them are of high quality.
See, I think
there's none of them that's a standout movie for the month.
Yeah, there was a lot of ones where you're like, "Ooh, I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes," and it was just a little bit below par.
Yeah. So I've kind of defined them all as like these are all airplane movies.
Yeah.
You could watch all of them on a flight. They're all flight, and obviously depending on the flight and where you're going and stuff like that, it depends on the movie. And maybe I might have a bit prepared on that later on.
Oh, nice.
But for anyone who doesn't know how this works, what me and David do is we watch a load of movies in a month, and at the end of the month we hand out our 6 awards for them, which is Movie of the Month for Best Movie, Povey of the Month for the Worst Movie, the Pierce Brosnan Award for Excellence in Acting for the Best Actor, the Pierce Brosnan Award for Incompetence in Acting for the Worst Actor, our Hidden Gem Award for like a hidden gem.
We all know what a hidden gem is at this stage.
And then Blatant Muck, which is a movie that's had a load of potential but was shite or was overly exposed and shite. And oh yes, the whole thing. So what we do then is the Academy votes on it. There's 2 members of the Academy. There's me and David. If it goes to the tiebreaker, it goes to the producer, and the producer seems to change month to month because people get angry, or people get angry at who the producer was because it was originally me. Then there was a load of different versions of it.
Yeah, there's no consistency.
So I actually didn't talk to you about who I would get.
Yeah.
But it's a big scoop.
Okay.
Film critic.
Okay.
Big star.
Yeah.
Mr. Harry Styles is here to give us his thoughts on some of the movies as we go.
I'm assuming you're inserting that clip.
I have no idea what he's talking about. He is sitting beside us, David, and we're gonna go to him and ask him some questions. Okay. Also, other people's opinions we're going to be asking is anyone who sent in reviews on the Instabox or Letterboxd about their thoughts on the movie. So I have some of those sprinkled in, and then also there's time codes for people that want to jump about, and then also we'll be talking about the movies coming up next month because I'm excited for October, David.
Yeah.
But let's talk about September.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. Oh yeah, and the movies we're going to cover today, there's too many movies to talk about today. Yeah. Fall, 3,000 Years of Longing, Blackbird, Pinocchio, Bodies, 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 See How They Run, The Forgiven, After Yang, Don't Worry Darling, Do Revenge, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, Ticket to Paradise, and Hocus Pocus 2. That's a lot to go through.
What a list.
But yeah, don't worry, we won't do any spoilers. There's some we're missing, and if anyone has if we've missed any that people want us to do, let us know. We definitely didn't watch Blonde. That's one big movie that came out this month that we're not sure about.
Yeah, you had a certain predicament about that movie.
There's a lot of I don't want to really get into it, but if anyone has watched Blonde, I'm very interested to know what you think. So let us know. Or if there's any other movies. I know we didn't watch Smile. Yeah. And there's a few.
That's an October movie.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
That's a Halloween movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Spooky season, David.
Spooky season.
Well, I think we probably should start with the movie that our film critic, producer Harry Styles is here, is in, which is a movie called Don't Worry Darling. Yeah. Or I have a better name for it. Okay. And I can't believe they didn't do this instead. Yeah. Why not reuse a line from a movie that came out this year that everyone loved? Yeah. Take it easy, sweetheart! Much better name for the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it fits so much better with the whole time period, the whole
Don't
aesthetic.
worry about all the 1950 stuff.
Just
take it easy, sweetheart.
Just go with the flow.
Let him go off to work and do all the house stuff. Tell you.
All you need to do is have dinner ready on the table for when he arrives home.
I'm telling you, Colin Farrell in this movie would have been slam dunk.
It would have made a huge difference.
But they got Harry Styles instead. And I think if people don't know what this movie's about, I think they definitely know the scandal around it all, where Harry Styles definitely spat on Chris Pine.
Yeah.
A man who I hate from episode 1 of this podcast, and I might reignite that feud, why not?
I was actually interested to hear your opinion, as in, like, whose side you took on that.
Oh, I took Chris Pine's. Fuck Harry Styles.
Yeah, exactly.
Broke Ted Lasso's heart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, do you want to try and explain what this movie's about?
Yeah. So this is a 1950s aesthetic where we meet Harry Styles plays a general worker. Like, he works in.
He's a businessman, maybe.
Yeah, he wears a suit and tie, and he goes to work 9 to 5, and he leaves his wife Florence Pugh at home to do all the cooking, the cleaning, and all the kind of general housework that women did back in the day, instead of normal stuff. But there's obviously something kind of going on. There's the company that Harry Styles works for is a little bit shady. They're not really, the housewives aren't really told too much about what they're doing, what's going on. And one of the housewives finds out some information that she's not supposed to know about, kind of becomes a little bit curious and finds out a little bit too much. And Florence Pugh kind of gets entwined in the whole kind of conspiracy involved with the company. But yeah, it's so what I would say about this movie is, like, concept wise, interesting.
Yes.
Execution was very weak.
Okay,
So
I don't think the execution is as bad. I think it's the script.
Yeah,
I think the script lets it down, because it can be very sloppy at times with some of the story points.
Yeah,
and then, like, there is, like, a kind of a reveal, I guess, where we understand the secrets of the whole place in the third act.
Yeah,
that I've seen online people have liked the twist.
Yeah,
but I think if you're not on board with the twist, the movie the discovery, the movie kind of falls apart.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the case for me, where I was kind of like unsure, because there was some plot holes, a bit of it was sloppy, and then the reveal came, and then I was like, no, I'm checked out. So I think that's more the script, because I think the direction of the movie is very visually interesting.
Yeah.
Some of the performances are very good as well. So, like, all that's good. And, like, it's Olivia Wilde's second movie. And, like, it's really impressive, some of the stuff she does in this. But I just think it's, I don't know, like, how much, at the end of the day, how much of it is the director's fault. But yeah, I think from a script point of view, that's where it was the weakest for me.
Like, my whole thing was this movie kind of gained a lot of notoriety due to, like, drama on set and drama between different actors and people involved in the movie. And then you're casting a light on the movie as well by casting someone like Harry Styles, which is going to bring in a certain type of audience. I just think execution wise, story. Yeah, I agree with you definitely in terms of the aesthetic and the whole context of the story. It is interesting and it is intriguing that they this world and you are engaged in it. I just think the issue is that we've seen things like this before. We've seen it in Truman Show. We've seen it in The Matrix. And things like that have done it not even better, but just, like, more consistently. Yeah. And it's just, like, it's an unraveling. Whereas this, I felt like, was just, like, dragged out for way too long. Mm-hmm. And by the end of it, I was kind of just like, yeah, right, let's just... Yeah. But no, like, in terms of, we have this in the category of best actor, and I think we have to highlight Florence Pugh, because she really carries this movie from start to finish.
And between her doing Black Widow, Midsommar, Fighting with My Family,
Women.
The Little Women as well. Not Fighting Little Women in the Family.
No, sorry,
two separate movies.
The wrestling movie, yeah.
The wrestling movie and Little Women as well. Like, I kind of see Florence Pugh going down the path of, like, the Amy Adams, Jennifer Lawrence. Like, I could see them doing this role a couple of years ago, where I feel like she'll get one, like, really great role and, like, be an Oscar contender soon. Which I kind of think is a bit unfortunate in the sense of, like, that she's tied into being the new Black Widow. Yeah. Because I wonder how much of that will be subtracting from her the amount of time that she can give to that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
But I think she's a great actress.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, like, again, she literally spends probably the whole movie on screen. I doubt there's even a scene where she's not a part of, and it's that thing she's really good at that whole thing of
I'm just stressed out.
Yeah, being stressed out and being like confused
Yeah.
about the situation you're in. And I think like again, like and I think it's the big thing about this movie for me is just it's so frustrating because it could have been something really, really interesting. But for her performance, I think it just shows she's just one of these leading women in Hollywood now that's really up and coming.
Yeah.
As you say, when she gets that big break of like a big movie or a big kind of Oscar contender, you can see her definitely being up there in terms of nominations or winning or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to move on to the other performance that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we'll mention it now. I think a lot of was kind of said about Harry Styles' performance before the movie kind of came out with the trailers and stuff, and the movie critically is being panned. It's like 50-something% on everybody else, which I think is a bit harsh. But Harry Styles was one kind of weak point people had identified. It was supposed to be originally Shia LaBeouf, but there was, like you said before, drama behind the scenes. But like, he's fine.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. Like, if this was another actor, like just a normal actor, let's say like Scott Eastwood.
I was just thinking, bland man.
Who's the most generic Hollywood man you can think of? Like if it was Scott Eastwood, no one would say a thing.
Yeah.
But like,
and I think it is unfortunate as well because you're going up against fucking Florence Pugh. Like you're acting against her, she's just, and it's just literally so easy to compare both performances.
And not even that, like even some of the other actors in it, like Chris Pine is very good at what he's doing in it.
Yeah. Olivia Wilde's great.
Olivia Wilde plays that character really well. And it's just because there's that just kind of drop off, and it's only very slight between them, but it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and also I will say about him as well, like it's his first major role, and it's a complex, layered role. Yeah, and I'm kind of like, fair play for taking it on because that could have gone a very different way. But luckily, it's Harry Styles, and everyone loves him. But like, fair play to him, like. Swing, he took a swing at it. Do you know what I mean? But like,
my big thing is, I assume they had more kind of footage of him, but in the editing room they were just like, is there any chance we could just make them have sex again?
Just he's like really good at being horny.
Yeah, is there any chance he could just come home again and have sex with his wife on the dinner table?
Yeah. Hey guys, we're just gonna reshoot this scene. I know you have that whole monologue, Harry, but would you like to go down on Florence Pugh?
Yeah. And like Florence, you're so good at being, orgasming. But that was just another thing that popped into my head. So
anyway. But what else was great? Yeah, like look. So in terms of performances,
and sure, the other thing I will mention, I can understand people who do enjoy this because it is.
Completely. Yeah,
like you can get entangled in it. It's definitely just for us, having seen
white
movies
men
like
this movie.
Just having seen movies like this before. It's just been done. Just at a more consistent level and like more tightly done, and I definitely, another thing is just it really is drawn out. Like I think you could cut 15-20 minutes off, and it's just more lean and it's more kind of focused on the original story point. And there is bits of this where I'm more intrigued about what's going on in another part of the story. And it leaves you just wanting more. And that was the main thing coming out. I was just like, this could have been so much more better. Yeah.
And I think Lily said it in her review here, which I have here for the peer review. She gave it 3 stars. She said, I'd follow Chris Pine into the desert. I see how this happened. Overly enjoyable. Florence Pugh was really amazing, but it was just missing something. There was too much going on and not enough explanation or exploration of all the moving parts. Has the potential to be a great miniseries, which I think would be very interesting.
Yeah. And I mentioned the whole Black Mirror thing. Like it really fit into that world really nicely. And what was I going to say? The message as well. Like there is a message there, but again, by the end of it, you're just like you just miss that point completely because of the kind of they're too much focus on one world when they should be focused on another.
And just speaking about the message as well, which I think is why it can be quite decisive, because I think a lot of men online would kind of be like, oh fuck this movie for saying all men are the worst. And I think it was something else someone had said about like She-Hulk as well, where it's like sometimes you just need a likable man in it to kind of be like, oh, it's not all the men in the world are evil.
Exactly.
There's literally like, even if there was someone kind of trying to help Florence, man or woman, you kind of the woman character of Olivia Wilde's character, but even like something for people to kind of grasp onto or relate to, but for like, I imagine a lot of people, there's no one to relate to in this movie.
Yeah.
And even Alice actually reached out as well and was saying there's a load of plot holes in it too. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular. Yeah. Okay, and then so here's my next bit. Do you have anything else to say? And so, like I was saying, these are all movies you'd watch on a flight.
Yeah.
So for this, I've broken down what flight you'd watch it on.
Yeah.
So I think for Don't Worry Darling, where do I have this? Dublin to Venice at 5:30. You're flying from Dublin to Venice, and the flight's at 5:30. You get on the flight, it's a bit late, heading to Venice. You want a bit of a murder mystery, not murder mystery, bit of an intrigue, 5:30. Yeah, stick on Don't Worry Darling.
Fair enough, yeah.
But yeah.
Is there a direct flight to Venice?
Mate, I didn't do that much. Okay. I wrote just a load of silly words.
I'm looking for plot holes, man.
But yeah. What else? Who else was good acting this month?
Who else was good acting?
Need to ask myself that. I've bodies down here.
Yeah.
Could talk about that.
Yeah. If we had an award for ensemble cast, I think this would be the one.
Ooh, you let me look into that, but maybe, yeah.
No, I'll let you speak. I'm unsure.
Yeah. I'm just looking. I think there's definitely one movie this month that had the greatest cast of all time. But, we'll talk about that later in the worst movie section. Bodies is a movie with a load of it's a murder mystery. It's a whodunit. It's all these Gen Z millennial, all these Gen Zs, like entitled upper class kids who are going to this house party kind of thing, and there's a storm and the electricity goes out, and all of a sudden one of them ends up dead, and it's all about them trying to find out who the killer is and escape them. And at the same time as this, before this all happened, they had started playing a game called Bodies, where it's like Among Us, where someone's the killer and you have to figure out who the killer is, but you run around the house. But the cast in this is fantastic. It's really, really good. I guess just a bit on the movie itself. Really fun, really enjoyable, some very solid jokes in it. And I think for me, when I sussed the killer, and I was like, so when it was revealed, I wasn't too annoyed by it, because I know Keira was quite disappointed by the reveal in it. And like it's shot quite well. The cast seemed to get on quite well. It's solid. I wouldn't say it's not groundbreaking. It's not must watch. It's just a lot of fun. I think, like you were saying there about the ensemble cast, I'm excited to see what everyone kind of does after this. Except for Pete Davidson. Just look after yourself. And Lee Pace is great as well. He's obviously like 40 something. But like all the other cast members in it, whose names I don't have written here, but they're all nominated for the award. One of them in particular is great. I don't know her name. But let me
Ali Bennett or something.
She's in a movie called
Shiva, baby.
Yeah, that actress is fantastic in it. She's very, very good. But yeah, it's just a fun time.
Yeah, so my big thing with this is they're really good because you definitely get on board that these guys have been friends for a while and they know each other so well that they're annoyed by little things that each person does, or they're like, they call each other out by doing stupid stuff and things like that. So it feels like this is a world that's existed beyond what we're seeing, which makes it more kind of realistic. I would put this on the level of like a Scream, or maybe actually a little bit under. Like it's probably not as intriguing as that, but it's definitely that kind of genre of movie of just like silly slasher. Kind of knows exactly what it is, and it is funny at times without being kind of laugh out loud.
Yes, because with the screening I went to, I don't think people knew what to laugh at and what not to laugh at. But I think there's one scene in particular where there's a big argument, and I think that's when the audience kind of all got on board with like, okay, you're not meant to like these characters, because I kind of likened it to, it's a bit like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where you're seeing all these horrible people picked off. And you're like, good.
And obviously, like, there's a mirror put up to like society of just like, look what you've done to certain, a certain generation of kids. That it's they just can't survive without certain things in their lives, and
drugs.
A
lot of drugs.
And again, I think the whole entitlement thing is a huge part of the movie as well. That you have this this class of individual in a room or in a house together, and they're trying to get along, and there's a lot of testosterone and different people trying to argue and stuff. So again, I'm scared about saying too much about this.
David, there's a weird gap at any point, it's because David spoiled the movie and had to edit it out. But yeah, and then in terms of the peer reviews, I have one from Salome, 4 stars. The director called it Lord of the Fly meets Mean Girls.
Yeah.
And I'm obsessed with that. Clint gave it 4 stars. He said Agatha Christie's Euphoria.
Yeah.
And then another one, and then for Karsten said 4 stars, does so much for people with a podcast.
Yeah. I meant to ask, how do you feel? Did it hurt you?
The podcast community, how it's represented in this movie.
How did it affect you?
Accurate. So fair. I can't argue with the depiction of it. I'm just like, that's so fair. But it's basically, I don't want to give the joke too much away, but there's a character with a podcast, and obviously during the fighting, and like you say, being able to kind of come out with these bickering and being able to come out with these like cutting remarks. What the character who has the podcast gets things said against her in a way that I deemed too cruel.
I also think that Americans do like that kind of slagging a lot better than we would.
Yeah.
Because like
we just call them a dickhead.
Yeah, like, and also it is a big. I don't want to be sexist or anything, but like women hold grudges a lot better than men. Yeah. Just being like, they'll just recall stuff. Where I feel like when lads have a fight, like 2 minutes later, you're just like, it's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which works really well in this movie, that you can they have this recall, which is very, very funny.
Also, so your one was Rachel Sennett, by the way. Amandla Stenberg is in it as well. She's the one whose friend group it is that they go back to. And then Maria Bakalova's in it as well, who's also in Borat 2, who's great. Yeah. And she was also in something else recently as well, I feel, that Gary is Googling in the background. She's in the bubble. Ugh.
Yeah. She really took a turn with that.
Yeah. She's great as well. Very excited to see what she's doing next as well. So and there's a few others in as well, whose names are here, but we're short on time. There's too many movies. So that's Bodies. And
what I would say to people is, if there's any chance you can go see this in the cinema, try and get out to it. It's probably the one. I know you're talking about. I don't know. I would, and actually coming up to Halloween as well.
Yes.
Get this on, because it's a fun kind of whodunit.
Yeah, but if you're on a flight.
Yeah, I suppose if you're on a flight, you can watch it.
I have Madrid to Dublin Sunday at 7 p.m.
Madrid to... Okay, so you're going home.
Going back from holidays. Yeah. You might be there with a group of friends. Yeah. Tensions go high. Oh, yeah. Go watch Bodies. Exactly, and it's 7 p.m. flight. You want something a bit spooky.
Yeah.
I don't know if this bit's going to work, but I'm going to run with it anyway.
Getting it,
and Harry, what do you think about this movie?
My favourite thing about the movie is like it feels like a movie. It feels like a real go to the theatre film movie that you kind of the reason why you go to watch something on the big screen.
So powerful thoughts.
He's just he has a way with words.
Where did you get it from? Other good performances this month. You went to go see it. Do you know what also is interesting about this month? We didn't see any movies together.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm fucking sick of you and I have a grudge.
I know,
I've been holding it.
Yeah, come on.
It's just the way you're sitting there in the seat. Could you just not?
Okay.
So annoying.
Would you prefer if I stood?
No, because even how you stand is worse.
Neil.
David, it's just your aura in a cinema. It just exudes like entitlement.
What if I don't sit beside you?
That's what I've been working with.
Okay.
No, because you went to go see The Forgiven, which I did not go see.
Yeah.
And what's The Forgiven then?
Okay, I'll go through this as quick as I can. So the biggest draw for this movie was it was directed by Michael McDonough. No. John McDonough.
Pope John Paul Michael McDonough II.
I think it's John McDonough. He you would know him from The Guard and Calvary, and his brother.
The Guard, the superhero from the movie Secret Headquarters.
No, the movie The Guard with Brendan Gleeson.
Right. It's John Michael McDonough.
Yeah, there you go. He's brother of Martin McDonough. Mm-hmm. He has this kind of sincere humour, kind of very cutting, very just kind of on the nose stories, which I have enjoyed in the past, especially the likes of Calvary and The Guard, which is the main thing that I had drawn to it. Now, literally, it's just a story about these kind of upper class English. A lot of them are English people going to a house in the Moroccan desert, where they're kind of celebrating together. There's nothing in particular, just their friends live there. They're all just kind of congregating there to have a bit of a dinner party. When one of the individuals going to the party, played by Ralph Fiennes, his wife is with him, played by Jessica Chastain. They strike a young man selling fossils on the side of the road. And there's a big dynamic that happens with the family of the man they strike and stuff. And he has a debt to repay to the family due to killing their son, while the rest of the party are obviously still enjoying themselves in this kind of big mansion in the desert. So, like, it is an interesting film. Ralph Fiennes is brilliant in it. He has this turn throughout the movie that you just see him, you know, he goes in as this kind of bigoted character, but, you know, through his journey during the movie, he just kind of changes his tune and reacts differently to different characters by the end of it. The one thing I would say is that it has that same sort of thing with Bodies, where it's these upper class, entitled, more, you know, a lot of English people who I would say are like, a lot of them are Tories. Okay. Very conservative. And, you know, they're, for some reason, they find themselves in this kind of mansion in the desert, but they don't like being in Morocco. Like, they're there because it's
they
like,
can say they're going to Morocco.
It's unique or whatever. Yeah. It's, you know, it gives them this sort of sort of hold over the place, you know. And there's it's a bit like Upstairs or the Downton Abbey, where you have like the rich upper class, and then you have the people that work for the people that own the house and stuff like that. So it's an interesting one. I just think it's missing a little bit of a charm factor, where there's no character that you can kind of get behind as like, oh, I enjoy him from start to finish, or I can see their point of view. It's a lot of them are just like very cutting, you know, not very nice, just very just
British.
Yeah, British. Very slimy. Very slimy.
Okay.
Rich. But it is an interesting one, and I would see it definitely fits into that category of watching it on a plane. I could definitely see the middle-aged folk watching it on a plane if they had the chance. But yeah, it's just missing that kind of Brendan Gleeson magic.
And is it more of a directing problem or a script problem? Because obviously he wrote and directed this, and like, I know he's
direction wise, I think it is good. Okay, it keeps you really, really engaged, and there's a little bit of not a mystery, but it keeps you engaged with one of the storylines about where it's going to go. Okay, and the ending is actually really, really good. Okay. Really good. Like, by the end, it's a satisfactory ending. Just again, it could be a personal thing that there was just no character I could kind of get my head around and just be like, okay, they're the one I'm kind of rooting for. It's a lot of just slimy characters.
Yeah.
None of them.
A bit like Succession.
Yeah, a lot of people like that.
Yeah, but no comedy, or maybe not enough.
Yeah, and like a lot of them are like there's one bit where they're talking about immigrants, but it's just so ridiculous when you consider like the whole house is full of immigrants. Yeah. In this sense, because you know they're coming from abroad. But yeah, interesting. I can see how people would enjoy it, but again, just personally, I think it was just missing that little bit of a charm that we've seen in the likes of Calvary or The Guard, or we see in a lot of, say, Michael McDonough movies with In Bruges and stuff like that. Fair. So, yeah, again,
off the top of your head, what sort of flight we talking about here?
Business flight back from Zurich.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Flying direct back to Dublin? Or stopover in London?
Stopover in London.
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. I can kind of pick up on that point of that movie.
Exactly.
Okay. And
no, an Irish person wouldn't watch this.
An Irish person wouldn't be in business class. And then the last nomination for this is Leslie Manville for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, which you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
That sounded like a bit of a...
I'm waiting to see it in the cinema.
Yeah. I watched it in the cinema.
The proper form.
Yeah, I watched it in the cinema. I got an advanced screening of it, David.
Personal
screening? Yeah, I went to the Stella.
Oh, nice.
Universal Ireland invited me.
Oh, nice.
They did not. What you call it? Yeah, so Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is a heartwarming, joyful movie about delightful Paddington. Just think Paddington, that's the vibe. But basically it's about 1950s London, about a widowed cleaning lady who falls in love with this Dior dress that one of her clients has, and she's decided, like, you know what, like I said, her husband's dead, she's gone around cleaning all these houses and shit, and she sees this dress and she goes, I'm having that. That's mine. I'm getting one. And then she
sounds like Del Boy.
Yeah, she's like, this time next year, Del Boy, we'll be all in couture, haute couture, Dior dresses. Haute couture? I can't remember what it is. It's like fit to whatever measure. But yes, so she decides that. So she tries to raise a load of money and to get over to Paris, to go over to nip into Dior, buy one of these dresses, and heads back. But little does she know, it's a whole week-long process, and, she's not dressed particularly elegantly as the usual Dior clientele would be, so they're very standoffish. It might have something to do with... I can't give out about the French and the British in one podcast.
Oh, absolutely, go for it.
Yeah, the French. French designers. French fashion designers, very snooty.
Parisians,
yeah. So, but eventually what happens is because she is such a delightful, charming character, she's able to warm the hearts and charm all of these Dior people into becoming like better people and helping save the brand of Dior eventually, kind of thing. That's not too much of a spoiler, but it's based on a book called Mrs. Aris without the H, and they made a version of it with what's her face from Murder She Wrote, Angela Lansbury. So I've done it before, but yeah, it's just really sweet. But I think the movie doesn't work without your one Leslie Manville. She's phenomenal, and she's so nice and lovely in it. And there's some other good people that you might know in it, like Jason Isaacs and stuff. Who's great. But it's not a believable movie. Like it's so like this is where the fucking cold hard psychopath in Gary comes out. It's like none of it's believable. This would never happen. It's like so much of the plot conveniences are like ugh.
But this is based on a true story, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's all
based
fictional.
on a book. Okay, great.
It's based on the book. It's all fictional. So yeah, it has like the warmth of, like I said, a Paddington movie. It's like it's not also her comedic performances, but it's like some of the dramatic scenes as well. Like shit happens in it, and you like it breaks your heart if you had one, and it's just so nice. But yeah, it's definitely worth going and seeing in the cinema. But also like on a flight like 5 years from now, you see it on sticking on. Also, there's a scene where she puts some money on betting out the scores in like Premier League games. She has Tottenham down to lose, David. I looked into it. Tottenham came second that season. So joke's on you, Mrs. Harris.
Oh, she's from London. So
I don't know. She must be a Gunners fan.
West Ham.
Maybe, yeah.
Chelsea.
I don't know. But yeah, it's got two things that I love. It's got the Brits being at it, and it's got the French being taken down a peg.
Although I feel like we're contrasting the whole British thing, because we've gone from the scathing kind of
to the nice, lovely working class.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then I have in terms of the peer review, I don't think anyone has seen it, so I grabbed one from someone else. From Kyle, gave it 4 stars, and it's called Paddington's Phantom Thread. And in terms of the flights, what did I have this? Oh, this is a Dublin to London Saturday at 10:45. You're fresh. you're heading over to London. You're just exposing yourself to some British energy before you head over. You could do it on a flight to Paris, but I think it makes more sense to go.
Paris is a different vibe.
Yeah, exactly. I think I have one movie here actually for a Paris flight. But in terms of best actor, then who do you want to say for the month of September?
There's no one. Unfortunately, there isn't really anyone that stood out, but I think Florence Pugh for me is just the one that like carried her movie more than anyone else. And again, I don't think the movie works without her. Well
done. Oh, Harry seems good with that. But we didn't ask him what he thinks about Don't Worry, Darling.
Okay, yeah. What does he? I assume he's done press with this.
Well, he has to be pressed about it. He's talked about it. He's read and researched the script.
He must be sick of doing it.
But I bet you he probably has some really interesting thoughts and insights to the movie.
My favorite thing about the movie is it feels like a movie. It feels like a real go to the theater film movie that you kind of the reason why you go to watch something on the big screen.
Wow. Blows me away every time.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Just
you can see where his talent comes from.
How he's able to just pick those parts out and understand the movie on that level.
He weaves his words like a Dior dress.
I should have put a load of Harry Styles puns, but no, we don't have the time. There's so many movies. Right, okay, let's get on to worst actor as well. We know who's winning, but let's talk about... Well, we nominated Harry Styles for Don't Worry, Darling, but again, it's not the worst actor. We have trouble with the worst actor.
Again, it's like this month was just so indifferent.
Yeah,
just so nothing.
Yeah. See, I don't know, because I was coming down from a holiday, so I didn't know if it was just like that.
It was, I think...
But no, I think the movies were shite.
See, and again, it is a big thing with Hollywood that September is unique in this form that you're coming off summer when they put out a lot of their big blockbusters.
Yeah.
They know a lot of kids are going back to schools and stuff, so, you know, even families won't have time to go to film. So they always put, you know, a lot of... It's a bit like January as well in terms of they put their weaker films in September. But again, I feel like there is an opportunity there for a big... Not a big, huge movie, so but like something like how the same way March has become a huge thing for the MCU and stuff like that.
There is some holiday in America. Is it Memorial Day?
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Yeah.
Which I think was Shang-Chi was Labor Day last year.
Yeah. And
they didn't do anything this year for it. I just the studios ran out of movies.
Yeah.
There's no movie there's no big movies even for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But still tune into the podcast. Well, next month there's the biggest movie of the year, obviously. Yeah. And there's Avatar 2, but like there's no big blockbuster shit.
Yeah.
So I think this was literally just a dump of like a lot of movies.
And again, I think the other thing is there's a lot of stuff coming on streaming this month.
Yeah.
You look at Amazon, Disney, and
Netflix
all had
Paramount Plus. Not sponsored though.
All had big releases this month. So again, that could be another thing that they're just like, we're gonna just work on those for the month of September.
Yeah. But speaking of movies,
so we got completely off point then.
No, and that was good. It was interesting. What you call it? So in terms of worst actor, mentioned Harry Styles. Fall is another movie that came out this month, and it's not the worst acting. It's just poor acting in a movie with a lot of potential. Yeah.
So again, the big thing here is there's literally to spend so much time with the actors.
Mm-hmm. It's nearly the contrast of a Florence Pugh, where it's like being with her the whole movie makes it, whereas being with these characters the whole movie makes it worse.
Yeah. We'll go through a quick synopsis. So we meet three characters at the start of the movie. They're climbing a mountain, and there's a bit of a tragedy. And then 5 years.
Sure.
5 years passes.
Sure.
Some amount of time passes. And the two girls who are good friends who survived that tragedy decide they want to climb a TV tower in
America.
Yep. Out in the desert. It's very, very tall. Kind of abandoned. Just as a kind of solidarity that they're going to mark the occasion.
Oh, it was a year later, was it?
Maybe it was.
I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, some amount of time. And they get up the tower, and unsurprisingly enough, they get stuck up there. And we just literally spend the movie of them trying to get down and trying to survive.
Because they're big daredevils. They're big, like, they love climbing tall shit.
Yeah.
And then one of them is in mourning because of the incident.
Yeah.
And
one of them is a big YouTuber. She's
big Instagrammer.
Yeah.
Which I feel like the movie was trying to say something about that.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Do you know what? There is a lot of movies this month that's saying a lot about society.
Yeah.
And again, it's that kind of thrill ride. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, but it's nothing really beyond that. It's like a bump of coke. You get a huge high off it for a short amount of time, and then just slowly.
I wouldn't know, David. I'm straight edge.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's really good tension, really good suspense, nerve-wracking. If you hate heights, you'll hate this movie. But it's, even though it's like, I don't think it's still an hour and a half. No, it's 2 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Far too fucking long for what the premise is. There's a lot of, with these kind of like not high concept, but like convoluted concept kind of movies, there's a lot of weird plot contrivances throughout it, and you're just like, no one would do that, no one would say that wouldn't happen. Not like a Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris kind of thing, but like, and then the acting, it just wasn't good, and it's fine. Maybe it was the script, but it was just like, you didn't care about these characters by the end of it. And if anything bad happened to them, you were like, good, it means I can go home earlier.
The biggest comparison I would have is 127 hours. Like, when you look at what both Danny Boyle and James Franco did in that movie, like, he keeps you engaged throughout, and the struggle he has to go through to survive. Whereas in this one, again, as you said there, you don't really care by the end. You just kind of like wrap it up.
Yeah.
Like,
and in terms of the peer reviews, Bill, 2.5 stars. You think what I'm thinking, partner? Aim for the bushes. Fist bumps. Does the gritty dice. Directed by Scott Mann.
Shout out to
the other guys. Matthew said 2 stars. This movie jams This jams every dumb twist it can into an absurdly long running time to distract you from the fact that none of it makes any sense and the characters are morons who deserve what they got.
Exactly, yeah.
And then last was Sydney, 2.5 stars. Personally, I would have simply not climbed to the top of the 2,000-foot tower with a sign that says no trespassing, danger of death, without alerting anyone to where I was, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And finally, in terms of a flight,
Yeah.
Dublin to Porto at 7 p.m.
Okay. Dublin to Porto on your holidays.
Yeah, you're heading over I don't know. I don't know when's a good time to watch this movie. Maybe coming back. Let's swap it about. Yeah, Porto to Dublin.
Okay, that's fine. I can get behind that.
Let's change it back.
Yeah.
And then the last nomination.
Yeah.
For worst actor.
I think we just mentioned for now.
We'll get into that because I have a lot to say about the Michael Flatley directed, written, and starring Michael Flatley movie. Blackbird. He wins this.
Oh, absolutely.
He wins this 1,000%. We don't even need to go to Harry Styles.
No, Harry, you sit down.
Sit down. You seem very worked up about the last thing you had to say. He looks a bit exhausted.
I think he wants to sing a song.
we don't have the copyright for that.
Copyright.
I got done for copyright last week, actually, or last month, or with the or podcast with Owen. Apparently, Seal's legal team wasn't too happy with me throwing in Kiss for a Rose as much as I did. But look, we're fine. I'm still solvent for now.
So these.
But yeah, he wins this 1,000%.
Yeah,
so congratulations, Michael, and we'll get back to your movie a bit later on. We can talk about Hidden Gems if you want. Hidden Gems. I have 3, I think, this month.
Yeah.
The Forgiven you mentioned was one.
Yeah.
Another one's called After Yang.
Yes.
Which is a very interesting movie.
Yeah.
But what's it about? Who knows? So After Yang is this movie starring Colin Farrell. So enough, I was sold. I'm in. But basically, it's about this guy whose young daughter has a companion who is a robot, and his name is Yang. And eventually, he malfunctions and breaks down, and then Colin Farrell's character is trying to find ways to repair him, and basically goes through this process of learning about the robot, and it's just a kind of whole thing about self-discovery of what life's about and what it means to have connections with people and yada yada yada, all feelings and whatnot. And it's not really it's about anything. It's a journey of a movie.
No, okay, I can understand why you hate this movie.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, come on, man. If you hate it,
I gave it 3 stars.
Okay. No, this it is. What I would say is there's no destination to this movie.
Yeah, it's a journey. I said that.
Yeah, it's a lot of and it's a lot of conception in it.
Yes.
In terms of they have
the
a lot
sequel
of ideas.
to Inception.
They have a lot of ideas in it. But my biggest thing about this movie is that it's the whole thing of you could see this story linearly in terms of what's the word? Time. In terms of time.
Yeah, in terms of time.
One after the other. And it wouldn't hit as hard as the way they've done it in this movie. What's the word?
Time.
No, but you know the way
in order,
chronologically. There we go.
See, I know more words than David.
Exactly, yeah. I need my encyclopedia. So this movie could have been done chronologically, where we see Yang's experience with the family and through time, and it could have been time jumps, things like that. But I think the way they did it is far more hard hitting.
Mm-hmm.
It means a lot more when you see it, and it's that kind of unraveling of how important a character is, and how important it is that they're now gone. There's one scene with Colin Farrell and yet the actor who plays Yang, and it's just a simple chat about tea.
Yeah.
But it's because this memory pops up, and how important it was to Yang at that time.
Yeah.
And how that interaction made him feel more a part of the family. It was the same with the interaction with the other character, the wife. What's her name?
Yep, wife.
She plays
Time. Chronological. Her name's Chronological Time.
What's her name? I feel really bad because I don't know the name.
The actress's name?
Actress, yeah.
Oh, what's her face?
Sorry.
Oh, Jodie Turner-Smith.
Jodie Turner-Smith. There we go. She's in
Things.
Queen and Slim.
Yes.
With Danny Kaluuya. Again, it is just a simple kind of chat between the two characters, but again, because you're seeing it at a different time, not chronologically, you understand how important it was, and it's the daughter in it. I thought she was a bit weak in terms of acting, and
she's a kid.
No disrespect, yeah, absolutely, she's a kid, But throughout it, you can see how distraught she is that Yang is now gone. But it's only by the end of the movie, having seen certain memories, that you understand how important he really was to the family as a whole, rather than just the daughter herself. I kind of just went on a bit of a rant there, a bit of a tangent there, but I think I got my point across.
I wasn't trying to. Yes, that is.
Yeah,
and I was trying to not give away the chronological nature of the movie, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
But it's fine. Like, yes, that is an important aspect of it. But I think, I don't know. For me, it was just kind of like I was. Again, it's a bit maybe like Don't Worry Darling. I was so more interested with the other parts of the movie. Like, it's set in the future, and there's all this high tech stuff all about the place, and even some things about maybe like, is this business as good as they say they are? And we kind of don't spend time with that, which I was interested in.
So the thing again, it's an independent movie. So
David, I understand that.
There's only so much they can do.
Yeah, but I wanted corporate espionage with killer robots. I wanted a sequel to iRobot. Okay,
and you do actually get a bit of that, because
that's kind of what that's what I thought was really interesting.
The robot
about it.
does record certain things within the family dynamics. So, there's a cool dance.
That dance, okay, yeah, we won't give away anything about the dance, but it's the opening credits scene.
Yeah,
it's worth it alone.
Yeah,
it's an hour and a half.
If you want to see Colin Farrell dance,
yes, well worth it. But yeah, a bit of a hidden gem, because I don't think many people know about it. It's only in the IFI, so that's why I feel like people have to trek in to go see it.
Yeah.
And in terms of the peer review, it's here. 4 stars. It's just Liam saying it's the greatest open credit scene of all time.
Yeah.
And then the flight. What do I have here for the flight?
I watched this. Cairo to Dublin.
Cairo to Dublin. Interesting. What did I have down here? I said Tuscany to Dublin on a Thursday at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
No, something close enough.
I can get that vibe.
Yeah.
You kind of,
I don't know why I said Tuscany though. Oh, someone I know is going to Tuscany.
Oh, okay.
It was in my,
you got a text.
It was in my head, yeah. But yeah, and then there's another movie that Gary was too intellectual for me to like, which was 3,000 Years of Longing.
Do you want me to?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, David, please talk about this movie.
Okay, so this is a kind of fantasy story. It's kind of an anthology story. It's a bit of everything. It's about a woman who is kind of she's a professor
with a fake job.
Yeah, she's a professor of something,
of neurology or some shit, like, or storyology,
storytelling.
I'll find it.
Like
yeah, story. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm fine.
She ends up she's in Istanbul and she buys a bottle and opens the bottle, opens the bottle, and of course a genie pops out. And, Jinn, sorry, played by Idris Elba. And he obviously wants to be set free from the bottle and is asking her to grant 3 wishes, or he can grant her 3 wishes. And it's her kind of, she knows, she's kind of clued into the whole idea of, genies and granting wishes and things like that. And she's a bit too smart to, for his own good, if that makes sense. And he tells stories throughout his life of 3,000 years of how certain people made wishes or maybe didn't make wishes that he had hoped they would. And we're kind of brought on this journey. But it's intricate, let's say.
Yes.
But what I will say is it's unique.
Yes.
It's George Miller.
From Mad Max Fury Road fame. And you can definitely tell he doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, I'm making this because I want to make this. Yeah.
It's interesting to him. And conceptually wise, like, it is interesting. It does fall down in bits, but I definitely enjoy myself. I think the whole anthological nature of the first half was probably more interesting than the second half, where it does slightly fall down. But I had a good time with it, and it's like, it keeps you engaged in terms of like each of the stories it tells. The overall narrative is probably a little bit weak, but what I would say is that it's kind of secondary in that first half and kind of only really comes to the fore towards the end. Do you know what? It's the type of thing where I wouldn't mind seeing another story within that world.
Yes.
Maybe from a different kind of point of view and stuff like that. But definitely. It's one where you could definitely see it either way. Like, I can understand if people wouldn't enjoy it, but I had a good time with it, just in terms of the whole the uniqueness of the story and stuff like that.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that point, you made an interesting point there about people not liking it. I'm one of those people. Yeah. Look, no, it's not bad. It's no, look, great things about this movie. The cast is great. Cast, solid performances. The chemistry between them works very well. Yeah. Tilda Swinton's fantastic.
Yeah,
and she's like great in this as well. The visuals, phenomenal. Yeah. The score, brilliant. CGI's a bit dodgy.
But again, it's that type of movie where I'm like,
yeah,
it's not big. It's not a big budget studio movie. Yeah,
and the world is really interesting.
Yeah,
but for me, it was like it sets up the story. Yeah, and then for me, it was like pulls handbrake, starts telling about other stories that I find really interesting, and then it stops that and goes, "Hey, remember that thing we set up at the beginning of the movie? We're going to go back to that now." And it's just kind of like, "Oh, I don't care about you've set up this whole other thing. It just feels very disjointed and." It is really interesting. I want to see more movies like this. I love the idea of it. I just felt in execution, it was just, for me, I watched this, this was a double feature, by the way. I watched this after Beast, so I probably wasn't fully alert for it anyway. Yeah. And I was too focused on wondering if Idris Elba was going to fight a big lion in South Africa. So, but look, at the same time, it's a boldly creative project, I described it as, which I love to see, but I just wish I enjoyed it more.
Yeah. No, that's...
You get it?
Yeah.
Genies make wishes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But no, and like clearly, it's really interesting because because she's a neurologist or whatever the fuck, she's something about stories and stuff. She's obviously seen like Bedazzled with Brendan Fraser. She goes, I know what it's like. You gotta be very careful about making wishes.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's kind of an interesting take on that, but it's a really interesting world. It's just like. I think even the ending I was a bit upset by.
Yeah, the other thing is it covers a lot of points. It's trying to cover a lot of ideas about humanity and relationships and stuff. But the other thing I liked is that it doesn't answer all the questions. It doesn't hand you the answer. It's your interpretation, which again, some people might not enjoy that, but some people might.
I'm too dumb for that. I need the answers.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's unsatisfactory in that nature, but it's your own. You're making your own mind up and of where things are going or what certain things are happening within the story, but. And I think that is the issue with a lot of films these days, is that they're just kind of feeding you the answer. We'll talk about that in a few other entries later on, and even some of the earlier ones as well. But just for me, as you say, I'd love just similar story. Yeah, exactly, similar stories of the same type. And I know this was adapted from a short story, which again, maybe the issue is there that it's just elongated a bit too much and they're kind of spread a little bit too thin. But yeah, just for me, it was that kind of uniqueness that really kind of pulled me in, and it's just that stuff that we like seeing every once in a while. Yeah.
And Kira also enjoyed. She gave 3.5 stars. She said, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this movie. While it was a bit confusing and it made you think about the meaning behind the story, I felt the story was told quite well. However, the ending was quite abrupt, which I wasn't a fan of. The chemistry was great between the two leads. Their interactions and conversations were enjoyable to watch. This mightn't be everyone's idea of a good story, but I do think it's worth a watch to see what you think.
Yeah.
3.5 stars. And in terms of the flight, I think, what did I have here? I think this was a Turkey to London at 11 a.m.
Makes sense.
So there you go. Because it kind of sets up the word, like, I don't know, you enjoy the land of Turkey and its history and stuff a bit, which is kind of cool. In terms of hidden gems, what the F are we giving this to? Why have I decided to censor myself? When did I fucking decide that?
Harry's got
he's not happy about it. Most hidden or most gemmy?
So what are the options again? After Yang?
We're saying after
3,000 years.
Or The Forgiven?
Those three, which one would you enjoy the most? Which one would the average person enjoy the most?
Okay, just to be sure, Miss Harris Goes to Paris isn't a hidden gem. Nah, that's everywhere.
No, it's on a billboard.
Do Revenge, Don't Worry Darling, After Yang, The Forgiven, See How They Run, Bodies, Pinocchio's, Blackbird, 3,000 Years Fall. What's most hidden or most gemmy?
Yes, 3,000 Years was also kind of more kind of popular than the other two.
I'd say so, yeah. This is After Yang?
Yeah, maybe. But again, I don't think it's...
I'd say it's hidden. It's only playing in the IFI.
Yeah, I think hidden-wise it probably meets the criteria, but...
Gemmy-wise?
I don't think everyone's going to enjoy. But again, not everyone is going to enjoy a hidden gem. So that's probably fair. Yeah.
You give that Colin Farrell's after,
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, Colin Farrell. That man's racking up the Gazzies.
Yeah, isn't he?
Love to see. He had a big month this month. Oh no, it was last month, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Banshees or
next month is Banshees of Inisherin. Every month he has a movie.
Yeah.
So 13 Lives after Yang, Banshees. Man's on a roll. Can't stop him. That's about to make a bad joke. Visible Garbage.
Yeah.
What are we putting in here? I have 3,000 Years Alone.
Yeah.
I have Hocus Pocus 2, which I can talk about briefly.
Go for it, yeah.
I just had to put it in somewhere. It's a fine movie. Have you seen Hocus Pocus? It's all about the three Sanderson sisters, and they're back again. They get the original cast back, and it's Halloween night, and this girl and her friend accidentally summon them on their 16th birthday, and the Sanderson sisters come back to try and obtain the book and cast a spell to make them super powerful witches. Fine. It's just painfully grand. I don't even know why we're talking about it, but we need to put something in Visible Garbage. It's on Disney Plus. It's an hour 40 minutes. If you like the first movie, you might like this. I wouldn't say it's going to create new fans of it by any means necessary. However, I think what the most impressive thing about this for me was how flawless the three leads fall back into it. Yeah. They're really good. Like, they're just fantastic in it. Bette Midler's great. Sarah Jessica Parker's great. Kathy, surname I don't remember, is great. Although I have a weird grudge with the movie where she does this weird thing with her mouth where she's like this the whole time. For some reason in the first movie it's on her right side and the second movie it's on her left side, and it's really jarring to me, and I don't know why. But what else about Hocus Pocus?
So one thing I've heard about this movie just in terms of reviews is that they push towards that line of being a little bit rude, a little bit kind of just on the edge of I don't want to say explicit, but like, but would that have not made sense when you're taking something that happened that came out 30 years ago?
Yeah.
That you kind of see, you kind of go with the times and think like the fans of that are now in their 20s, 30s, 40s. Yeah. Why wouldn't we also move with that and make it less of a kids movie?
It's still on Disney, but
again,
it's still on Disney. It has the Disney thing in it in front of it. But like, I don't know, some of it's really funny with like there's the whole out of world, or like what's the word I'm looking for? Time. No, it's they're like out of time, misplaced, and they're kind of learning what new technology is about, and that's kind of fun. And there's some really cool bits in it where they have like a Sanderson sister competition, fancy dress competition, and there's like there's drag queens in it and stuff like that, and it's like it cuts to, it's a weirdly meta movie because you have a gay couple watching the movie. And I just think, well, one, it's just cool to have a gay couple in a Disney movie. That's why I mentioned that. But also, they're watching the original movie, which I don't really understand.
So the movie happened in the world.
I don't know. I didn't really.
Oh wait, are they playing the people in the movie?
No. It's still like the same universe, but it's almost as if like they made a movie about it happening, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, and I think what's also cool about it is like the three new leads in it. They're grand. They're like, I don't think they act bad. I just think their characters are really bland. Yeah. But like they don't try and make the movie about them. It's very much the Sanderson sisters kind of having the spotlight in it. But I just think from Visible Garbage, or Blatant Muck, sorry, like it's fine. Like it's Hocus Pocus 2. They've been trying to make it for 30 years, and this is what he came up with.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fine. And then in terms of the review, my favorite one is 5 stars. It comes from Lilia. 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 Will it take me being in this movie to be the top Letterboxd review? Probably. Is it narcissistic to review a movie you're in and give it 5 stars? Probably. So she
good
gets
for
it.
her.
Yeah. And then in terms of the flight, winter flight from New York to London.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just stick it on. But it's not the main movie you're watching.
Yeah.
You just stick it on as well.
You're having a nap, and then you're watching this, and then you're watching something else.
Then Blake, and then what else are we talking about for this category? Oh, Pinocchio goes here. Oh, Pinocchio goes here. Oh, okay, I can talk about Pinocchio. Sorry, David.
Oh, go for it.
Can I go for it?
Keep going, man.
Oh, man, Pinocchio. I have so many bad movies talking about this month. It's great. Pinocchio is... Everyone knows Pinocchio. Yeah. It's the tale about the little wooden boy who's wished to life, or he's brought to life by the fairy godmother kind of thing, and he is learning how to be... He has to prove he's a little boy to become a real boy.
He has to prove he's a little boy.
He has to prove he has the qualities of a little boy to become a real little boy. Yeah, and he meets all these fantastical characters as he goes along and learns what it's like to be a little boy. And whenever he lies, his nose grows long. And It's where you explain Pinocchio.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
sorry, you're doing fine. Sorry, every time you say little boy, I'm just thinking of a different thing. That
Okay,
we
fine.
talk about.
So yeah, it's fine. It's one of these many Disney live action remakes, which I think a lot of people are sick of these days. Especially, I think Lion King was the straw that broke the
Muck.
broke the muck. Yeah, and thought it was a shot-for-shot remake. This is effectively a shot-for-shot remake. However, I think one of the strangest things it chose to do was actually get rid of a lot of the songs, which I would have enjoyed to see a bit more of, except for the fact that Tom Hanks can't sing at all. It's nice to know, like, someone as good as Tom Hanks has...
Flaws.
He's not good at things, yeah. But look, it's a great cast. It's fantastic production design, rich source material, but it does feel like it's missing something.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that sort of same charm. And I know I haven't seen the original movie in years, but like I just felt like it was missing something. It's quite small in scope as well, which was a bit disappointing to see. And you can kind of understand why they put it on streaming rather than in theaters.
Yeah.
And like I said, the music was gone. The music's kind of reduced. But even though there's like 20 minutes extra of runtime in this. I'd also be lying if I was saying that the character of Pinocchio didn't become an ear sore after 20 minutes, because that's a lot of, oh, Jiminy! And you're just like, oh, shut the fuck up. Someone burned this boy.
So is it a kids movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, I'm biased in this. But, like, I would say that some of the best movies for kids are the ones the adults can enjoy.
I suppose, yeah.
But also I will say, like, yes, that took me out of some moments. And then also, like, Tom Hanks is super charming and great. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I don't know if he's doing a good job, but he does a job. And he really commits to it.
Is he a CGI character?
Yeah, he's the Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
He's really good. And, like,
but he's doing a voice. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But it's like, you wouldn't know it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I think that was the interesting thing about it.
Yeah.
It's like seeing his character in G.I. Joe and you're like, wow, that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
And it's just not the same. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting. And then there's like Keegan-Michael Keel's in it and Cynthia Erivo's in it. And they're great. I think Lee, what's his name? Lee Evans is in it as well.
Yeah.
But they're not in it enough. They're nearly like cameos, and it's just like these, like, Keegan-Michael Peele is great in it. He plays...
Is it Keegan-Michael Key or Jordan Peele?
Keegan-Michael
Key.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said Keegan-Michael Peele.
Oh, sorry, Keegan-Michael... Time. Chronological. Keegan-Michael Peele is great.
Not Keegan-Michael Key.
Time, chronological, Jodie Turner-Smith. Anyway, he's great in it. Keegan-Michael Key is great in it. It's very late. KMK is very good in it, but he's not in it for it. He plays the Fox character.
Yeah.
And what else? So yeah, they're all... also, Robert Zemeckis, he's done fantastic movies. This is kind of weak. Look, I think it's a solid watch if you're a Disney fan, but I think if you're new to it at all, it's quite shite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
What
else do you want to write?
Anything else I want to say about Pinocchio in general? I will say about the reviews though, Bill gave it 0.0 0.5 stars from Bill. He says, so Pinocchio's nose grows every time he lies, right? What if, hear me out, he just saws it off and makes unlimited lumber? Literally, all he'd need to do is say this movie isn't bad over and over. Lies really could save the world. And then 1.5 stars from Windy, saying the second film of the year where Tom Hanks plays a European caricature alongside an exploited puppet. Also, there's only one scene where he lies and his nose grows big, but it's to help him get out of a situation, which is effectively, hey kids, lie, and it helps you work out. Also, biggest thing, anyone who's listened to the Ghost Rider podcast knows that I had a strong connection with the Pleasure Island plot of the movie, storyline of the movie. Expertly done in this. Really good. It was haunting and horrifying. Yeah. Although it was really silly, which was fun. Actually, I did enjoy the Pleasure Island sequence of this movie. I will say the kid turning into the donkey is still horrifying and very just like, oh my god, this is a kid's movie kind of thing. So that was good. But that's in it. I was worried they'd take it out. They didn't. Because it's really cool. Because it's basically, anyway, they build it like a ride. So I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes a Disneyland ride. Sydney to London after a 3-hour delay.
Wow.
So you're looking to go to bed.
Yeah.
I think that has to win Blatant Muck. Unless there's anything else this month.
It's your award, man.
I think we have to go for this.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We're flying along. Yeah. What else we got? Oh, where are we putting Ticket to Paradise? And Do Revenge. We haven't mentioned either of those.
See, I think they're just movies. There's nothing to them.
Let's talk about them now. We don't have to go to anything.
No, that's fine.
Have to go to anything.
I'll go with Ticket to Paradise first, okay? And the way I'm going to review this movie is I'm going to tell you the start of the movie. Okay. And you're going to tell me what happens by the end, okay? Okay. So, we have George Clooney and we have Julia Roberts. and they're a divorced couple.
Oh.
And they hate each other.
It's going to be great when they get back together at the end of the movie.
Exactly. So they hate each other, but their daughter is graduating from college. She's just graduated from law. So they have to kind of meet up for that and kind of get along. And after her however many years in university, she decides, I want to go on holidays just for a bit, take some time off. So her and a friend decide to go to Bali.
Okay.
So she goes off to Bali and she meets a boy.
A boy in Bali?
Yeah.
A Bali boy?
Yeah. And all of a sudden she decides, I'm going to marry this boy. It's love at first sight.
This sounds like Father of the Bride, if you ask me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like that at all. But anyway.
But George Clooney and Julia Roberts are distraught. The same mistakes they made when they were younger, their daughter is making the same mistakes that they made in the past 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. So they decide they have to team up. They have to go to Bali and they have to try and stop this wedding at all costs. Whether that's doing mischievous things or whatever it is. Then is there anything else? No, that's pretty much it. Is there anything how would you end that movie? What do you think would happen?
Oh, well, they get back together.
Yes, of course.
But I want to know if there's like a highlight reel of George and Julia just playing pranks on them. There's like a whole there's no little highlight reel of them doing different things throughout the film.
They steal certain things from
I'd say so.
Like that,
yeah.
There, I will say, there's a funny bit in a bar where they play beer pong with some kind of cheesy 90s music, which is good fun. But for me, this movie, it's just very cliched. It's very predictable, and it's totally fine. I think it could have been better. Like, it could have been funnier with some more comedic actors, and it could have been more kind of entertaining in that sense, but just story-wise, it's just a bit bland.
Did it have any right to come out in cinemas?
No, again, they have George Clooney and Julia Roberts. That's the only reason.
Yeah, I feel like this could have been like a Netflix or a Disney or an Amazon Prime, and get people to subscribe to it. For the
only reason it's in cinemas is the two main actors. There's actually another character in a French pilot who's actually quite funny. He's just a bit silly.
Maxime Butler plays Gued.
No, that's
Billy Lord's in this.
Yeah, she's Lily, the daughter's... Or no, sorry, your daughter's friend? Yeah, Lily. The daughter's friend.
Yeah, sure.
The blonde girl.
Oh, wait! The two girls, the two people from Booksmart.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. No, one girl from Booksmart.
No, both.
No, the other girl.
No. Billy Lord's in Booksmart. She's the manic friend.
Oh, is she?
Have you seen Booksmart?
I have seen Booksmart.
You know the crazy one?
I thought you were talking about the two main girls.
No, one of them is your one whose name, Beanie Feldstein, who I call the wrong name, but I can't remember it. And the Booksmart episode I call her.
This is the girl from Dopesick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. But anyway, it's just a normal rom-com stuff.
Yeah. You know what? I probably would put it in blatant muck.
Okay.
Just for the fact that, like, the only reason this is in cinemas is because...
They wanted a holiday.
Yeah, exactly. That was the other point, is they wanted to go to... Well, actually, this was filmed in Australia.
Well, I don't know if you saw, there's an interview with George Clooney and Julia Roberts, and they were like, the interviewer, the BBC one, I think it's Radio 1, was like, how much of this was just a holiday? I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Excuse me. And they were like, what else? Like, Ocean's 11, that's another good holiday movie for us.
Yeah.
And then Do Revenge, that's another movie.
So the other thing with these two movies, I definitely don't think they're suited to me. It's not a guys movie. Neither of them are kind of guys movies. But Do Revenge is a high school movie where we have the typical kind of high school, the typical modern high school where you have those kind of, and again, it's a lot of privileged characters. Okay. It's this kind of posh school stuff. But our main character, can't remember her name.
Let's go with Anne.
No, it's something like
Anne!
Dara?
I'll look into it, but I'm going to say Anne for the time being.
It begins with a D.
Drea,
there we go.
Drea. It's Camila Mendes.
She's with one of the lads, and she sends him an explicit video which ends up online. And he's like the head boy. He's like the most important guy in the school.
He's walking around with his Letterman jacket with his hair slicked back.
Yeah, he has a rich father who probably donates to the school. And she ends up getting suspended and stuff, and has to kind of stay home during the summer while he gets away scot-free. So she teams up with...
What does he do? So what does she do?
She hits him.
No. She do revenge,
Oh,
David.
she do revenge. Sorry, yeah. So she teams up with Maya Hawke's character, Eleanor, and they try to do revenge.
Oh yeah. Do they do? No, don't spoil it. I don't want to know.
No, yeah. Look, it's totally fine. It's for me. It's just like it's white people and it's rich people trying to get back at each other, and it's that kind of whole bitchiness. And I'm just like, if this isn't like, it's not something that happens in the real world.
Yeah.
Whereas like, it's somewhat like someone pisses you off and you decide, 10 years down the line, I'm going to get them back for that.
Or I've been planning my whole thing with you. It's just the way you fucking sit in the fucking cinema chair. I'm slowly building my revenge, don't you worry.
But I just didn't enjoy it. But do you know what? Kira watched it, she enjoyed it. I know some, Avril watched it as well, didn't she?
I have her peer review thing here. Which is...
So it obviously just was my own taste, but just personally, again, it's there's no character you can kind of get behind and go like, oh, I'm rooting for that character.
Yeah. Avril gave it 3.5 stars, and she says, epitome of be gay, do crime.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this a lot more than I expected, TBH. And I think Kira's review was like, this is exactly my movie.
Yeah,
This is what I watch.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. And I just wanted to include them to say they came out this month. And thank you for watching them. So I didn't have to.
That's on streaming Netflix.
That's on Netflix as well. But yeah, Blatant Mug as well. Chuck it in there. Yeah, because we got nothing else. But it's going to Pinocchio anyway.
No, yeah.
Don't worry. In case anyone's getting offended, it's going to the wooden boy, the little wooden boy. They should have got Timothy Chalamet to play Pinocchio. Oh my god, that would have been excellent.
That was the thing I was laughing about earlier when you said the little boy.
God,
I was
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Or what about Tom Holland?
I was literally just I've got no strings.
No strings.
Oh, I can't be telling any fibs. Otherwise my nose. What do they say, nose? What's an English word for nose?
Snuzz.
Otherwise snuzz. Okay. As long as the river Thames. Anyway. Right, let's get on to more bad movies.
Sorry, what do we have left?
Okay, I think we just have Blackbird and see how they roll.
No, so wait.
Oh, we have worst movie, best movie. 2 categories.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and we just have...
Okay, let's...
Yeah, see how they run on Blackbird.
Let's just improve the mood a bit by going to best movie before we...
Yeah, let's end on Blackbird.
Yeah,
Great
absolutely.
Shit. Right, see how they run, David. You want to go with that, or will I go with that?
No, you go.
Because I'm doing Blackbird.
Okay, yeah.
Or no, I'm not letting you touch Blackbird. I'm not letting you have... I'm not letting you have slander on the podcast.
Well, I told you my whole thing about Blackbird.
Yeah, it's the best movie ever. Wait, yeah, go for it.
See How They Run is a murder mystery whodunit set in the backdrop of The Mousetrap, which is a play that's still running. I think it's actually on.
It's based on an Agatha Christie book.
Yeah, and it's on in the Gaiety this week, I think.
No way.
Yeah.
Should we not go?
I think Lily is gone.
Oh, fair play.
And okay, so this is it's a play that is being turned into a movie. In the movie, when's this? Like the 1940s, 50s,
well.
Just after the war.
Miss Harris is probably popping about.
And one of the director who's about to make the movie is killed.
A movie adaptation of the play.
Yeah, is killed in extremely dodgy circumstances in the theatre that the Mousetrap is taking place, and all the people that are involved in the production of the play and the movie are now suspects. So we meet Sam Rockwell's
Inspector doesn't say STO, and then it cuts off.
Is the inspector, is a detective, and he is working alongside Saoirse Ronan, who is just a random kind of uniform copper. She's
a constable.
Yeah.
And also begins with ST. That's all the information I have for you, David.
But yeah, this is a fun movie. I definitely think this is the type of movie you would go to with your family and you would go and see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of harmless in that sense.
This was a packed out. This was the busiest screen I think I've seen this month.
And it's grand. It's kind of fun, but I was expecting something along the lines of a Knives Out, kind of something that will really reverberate with not only like cinema fans, but in terms of pop culture as well. It just doesn't really do that. It's not that kind of quality level, but it is a fun time. And it's harmless enough, and it keeps you kind of intrigued throughout as to who done it. Yeah, who done it. So
I will say Sam Rockwell's character is Inspector Stoppard, and then
yeah.
it's Constable Stalker. Okay, and I think it's reasonable for you to have those expectations because it sells itself on as being an arty movie, and it feels like it's very self-referential, very meta. That you feel like it's going to do a nice edge on it, where it's not that movie at all. And I just kind of feel like that's because it has the same style as a Wes Anderson movie, so you kind of expect more from it.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of maybe why, and I definitely had the same pitfall of yourself where I was expecting a lot more from this. I would nearly put it in blatant muck, but I think it is actually at the end of the day quite an enjoyable movie if you just go in for face value what it is.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, very fun, and it's very, like I said, meta and self-referential, which I initially enjoyed, and then for me it became far too much, and it was that feeling of the movie thinking it's a lot cleverer than it thought it was. I thought the writing was quite weak at times, where it was kind of going for style over substance at some points.
Exactly.
Trying to achieve that sort of Wes Anderson aesthetic. And it does achieve that, but it doesn't have the same charm. Saoirse Ronan, great in it. She steals the show in every scene she's in, I think.
My thing is she's just a bit too silly at stages. She kind of drifts into that kind of caricature, but I can understand that she is enjoyable.
But I just think that's why I gravitated to her because I liked her character the most in it.
She's definitely that type of character I was looking for in other movies.
Yes,
you can kind of get behind this.
Stick that character in Bodies.
Yeah, exactly. She's dead straight.
But she's like fantastic comedic performance. It's just very genuine. I don't know if it was the script or her, to be honest. But it was even just the timing was great. For me, the biggest disappointment was Sam Rockwell. A usually very talkative, loudmouth character is given the role of a one-word what's the word?
Monosyllabic.
Syllabic. Thank you.
It was like
Keegan Michael P.
It was like a Ryan Gosling character.
Yeah, it was just like, why you... And he's just like,
lots of grunting.
It's like, just a lot of that. Which was just like, fine. Hope you got a lot of money for it, but it's definitely not the movie people are going to remember you for. Also, Adrian Brody, very good. Quite
very charming as
well. And I thought a lot of the other cast was pretty good as well.
Yeah, your man
Daniel... what's his name? Daniel Aloy? What's his name? The guy who's in Selma.
Yeah, I can't remember the second name.
Anyway, he's good.
The kid out of Kingsman is actually quite good as well.
He plays real life Richard Attenborough.
He was again very charming. He plays that character very kind of well.
Snooty.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it is a fun time, and it's the type of movie. As soon as my mom and dad saw it, they were like, "Oh, we're going to see that in the Stella."
Yeah.
So yeah, I can definitely understand people enjoying this, but
it's nominated for Movie of the Month, by the way.
It is. It is a good fun time, and if you haven't seen it, and if you do get a chance to watch it, go and see it because it's that who done it, and it'll keep you engaged in that. It's just more, I think, when we were looking at the movies coming out in September, this was definitely the one that stuck out for me. That this is going to be a fun time. This is the one I'm really gonna get behind. It wasn't what I expected, and maybe that's just my own expectations kind of getting in my way, but I think you had the same issues with it.
Yeah, well, this was a double feature. I saw this the same day. I saw Bodies.
Yeah, two whodunits.
Yeah. By the end of the day, I found out who did the double. I did the double. Our good friend Luke also saw it, and he replied with one of my favorite. I think because whenever people mess me on Instagram, I'm like, "Oh, that's good." Like nothing has created such a reaction as what Luke texts me.
Yeah. You didn't tell me this, eh?
Yeah, I didn't tell you this. It was just a message from Luke on my Instagram. Just, this movie did my tits in. Just that's it. That's all the context I got from him, and I was like, excellent. Then he eventually gave it 1 star. He said it was all that self-referential stuff, and then he was like, Saoirse Ronan was verging on paddy whackery.
The Brits are at it again.
Yeah, the Brits are at it again. And then in terms of the flight, I think I was quite generous to this. Where did I say? Dublin to Frankfurt, Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Yeah, you're off work. Or you going on a business trip? Yeah, keep you engaged. Yeah.
So where are we giving movie of the month to? Like, it's obviously Blackbird.
It's not Blackbird.
What are you talking about?
I refuse.
Okay.
I told you.
You're very angry about this.
I told you if you put Blackbird in that category, I'm gonna walk out.
Yeah. And I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Bleeding right. I don't know. I think See How They Run objectively is probably the best movie, and I think like anyone can enjoy it.
What did I give
Like,
the highest rating to?
but like again, highest rating doesn't mean like the
No.
best objective.
So I actually have
good.
it. So, but my 4 movies. Oh, I actually have the highest score I have is Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
Okay, well, if you think that's better, yeah.
Or it's Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. See how they run. Don't worry, darling. After you.
Maybe Bodies. But my whole thing would be that like if I was going between the two and if I was just talking to a random person, I would go See How They Run because again, anyone
Don't
can
like
get
giving
on
it
with
that.
Yeah, but anyone can get it on with it. But again, if you want to go Bodies, I'm happy with that. But it's just like it's just the whole kind of objective nature of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I'd nearly fight for Mrs. Harris, but I know you haven't seen it, so I don't want to do that.
But like, if you think it's better than the other two, I'm happy to go along with it.
There was less wrong about Mrs. Harris.
Yeah,
that's how I kind of rate some movies where it's like I didn't hate it enough. There wasn't like I was like, oh fuck this. Whereas I got that with See How They Run.
That's who you do everything, Gary. I didn't
I
hate
know.
this enough. You hate everything.
I know. This is gonna be a tough one.
I think if you think Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is better than the other two, I'm happy to go along with it. It's just I just think objectively.
Look, I think we go with See How They Run because I'm not putting it out there that Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is the best movie without you haven't seen it because I don't want because if you turn around and give it 2 stars, I'll feel awful for 5 seconds and then
I'm definitely gonna do that.
So we'll go with See How They Run.
Yeah. Oh, Luke's not gonna be happy.
Luke's not gonna be happy at all. I'm not really happy about it. I'll see if you watch Mrs. Harris. When are you going to see that? Tomorrow?
I'll see it sometime this week.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well done. Go on. We'll see How They Run. It's been a shite month anyway.
Do you know why I like that movie, Gary? It has Run in the title.
Can I talk? Okay, do you want to leave now so I can talk about Blackbird?
No. I'm going to fight for how bad this fucking movie was.
Okay. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And I had the most fun. I think it was probably, I had so much fun at this movie because of how bad this is. This is a movie that stars Michael Flatley, is written by Michael Flatley, is directed by Michael Flatley, is produced by Michael Flatley, and is funded by Michael Flatley.
So you heard his excuse?
Oh, he said his mom always thought he'd be a good actor, so he went off and made this movie.
No. So
he had a year off?
No. So what happened was he was going to make the movie, and what he was going to do was raise funds for it. But he said he wanted to get it made, within a certain period of time. So he's just like, I'll just fund the movie myself instead of just raising money because that would just take too long.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Rightly so, David. You got to give the people what they want, David.
Yeah.
Which is Blackbird. So, for anyone who doesn't know what this movie is about, shame on you. You should know. As Gary Lode's description of movie because it's so convoluted, I don't want to get it wrong because I have so much more to say. It's about a troubled secret agent, Blackbird, as he abruptly retires from the service and opens a luxury nightclub in the Caribbean to escape from the dark shadows of his past. An old flame arrives and reignites love in his life, but she also brings danger with him.
He clearly just watched a James Bond movie and Casablanca.
Yes, I've never seen Casablanca. So no spoilers, David. I don't want
no spoilers.
I don't want to know if she gets on that plane. Anyway, so it's about this guy, MI6 agent, and he retires to this hotel, and bad guy has a formula to kill a load of people, and it's up to Michael Flatley to come out of retirement as Victor Blackley to stop the bad guy and save the day. I don't even know where to begin with this movie. Okay, what's great? It's a James Bond ripoff. It is a sloppy plot. It has horrendous dialogue, woeful acting. But it is probably one of the greatest bad movies of all time. It's so bad, it's so funny because of how deluded he is in this movie. It's because nobody could tell him he was doing a bad job because all the way up the chain, it was him.
Yeah.
So no one could pull him to a side and say he was doing a bad job. You couldn't complain about the script to him because he was the guy who wrote it. You couldn't complain about the directing because he's the director. So it's just such a vanity project on the level of Threat Level Midnight from The Office.
Yeah.
But Flatley himself is just comically distracting in every scene he's in.
It just doesn't fit
visually
at all.
From either how he looks, what he says, and even just the traits that the character has. And also, I just think the sex appeal he has is like women are going after him like women went after Roger Moore in A View to a Kill, where the man was so old and he was still getting with 18-year-olds. I'm gonna spoil some things about this movie. There's there's two action scenes in it, and they are both hilarious. One of them, so Michael Flatley refuses to be, violent in any way, and the first fight he gets into, after retiring, it was with a man who's going to say 7'3", and Michael Flatley punches him to death. And he punches him, and he is dead. Just one punch, dead. He is the one punch Flatley man. Then there's another scene where it starts off with a gun battle where he is surrounded by men with guns, and he goes, "Let's dance." Cut to, we don't see this gun fight, but yet he's still alive. He can't kiss. He looks awful kissing. The opening shot is the cliffs of Moher for no reason whatsoever. I don't know why I have a quote here. It says, "He's a unit of a man." I think someone says that during it. There's the obligatory shirtless scene so he could show off his abs. There's the...
where he just zooms in
on his abs, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's the random flirty scene where he's trying to win back his old flame who is going out with the bad guy.
Poker.
There's the poker scene that makes no sense. It makes no sense. No sense! But it's just so wonderfully bad. I had so much fun watching it. There's some great quotes in it where after the flirty dance, where he's dancing with this love of his life for the first time ever, she turns to him and says, "Aren't you going to say anything?" And he goes, "I just did."
He's a religious man, Gary.
He's a religious man. He says, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned and I'm about to sin again." He blesses himself in Irish.
In Anna Manahar, Agus on Vic, Agus on Spirit Knave, and
he wears so many silly hats.
Yeah. He changes hat
mid-scene.
For no reason.
It's so bad. It's fucking amazing.
So the only thing I can compare this to is The Room.
Yeah.
By Tommy Wiseau. What I would say is, don't see this movie. Don't give this movie any more money.
Give it all the money.
Don't
give it all the money. I want to see.
Don't give it your time of day. Don't literally the money you give this movie, it goes straight to Michael Flatley,
as it should.
And
it goes to Dance Lord Studios, David.
It gives him the chance to make another movie instead of funding going towards something that's actually going to be good.
The 30th anniversary of Riverdance.
When you consider some filmmakers struggle to get things made, and it takes them literally years to create, beautiful films.
Yeah.
And this guy just decides, I'm going to make a movie of me, about me being a great me, and fucking nonsense. It's like...
He's the greatest secret agent of all time.
I totally understand where you're coming from in terms of the silliness. It's enjoyable, but my God, it's disgraceful. It's so bad. It's literally one of the worst things I've seen in my life. And it's absolutely disgraceful how... And the biggest thing for me was that it was in cinemas, okay? It was in Omniplex, okay? It left Omniplex because it was shit.
Then they gave the people what they wanted, David.
But then they brought it back into cinemas because there was so much of a buzz for it because it was so bad. Which is just so, it's so wrong when you consider, people have actually put hard graft into making good movies. Yeah. And this movie is so fucking shit that they're just we'll just fill, 3 screens to show this all day. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Do you know what? I don't even want to give the award for Poovy the Mud. I don't want to give him, because that just gives it more fucking coverage, which it doesn't fucking deserve. It's
David, it is a cinematic. It's one of the greatest cinematic experiences.
And do you know what's going to happen? It's going to become this cult classic where it's going to be in cinemas every year at some stage. I don't fucking know. People are going to start dressing up as them, have 2 hats. Yeah. Let's just change hats midday or mid-afternoon or whatever. It's fucking disgraceful. And it's the worst thing about cinema is these vanity projects. And when you consider some people put so much effort into making things which are actually good, and they've actually studied, or they've actually really put a hard graft into it, and this lad is literally just throwing things together. He must have thought up stuff on the day. He was like, what if we get a sexy woman to walk into my room, take off all her clothes, and I say, not
today, love, something like that. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
It's so good.
It's so
good.
No.
Gary,
stop.
I know.
Just stop.
No, I completely understand where you're coming from with from the fundamental principles of this movie. It's appalling. It's horrendous. And if someone had done it who was a more dubious character than Michael Flatley, Like, I don't know.
I also think it disgraces the Irish film industry.
No, it doesn't. It shines a beautiful light on it. It's great. I see. This is why I also think I enjoyed so much. It's because there's those Irish elements in it, and it's a James Bond ripoff. So I just enjoyed it for that as well. It makes no sense, the plot. It's so stupid. It's so much fun.
Eric Roberts is in it.
Of
course, he's the bad guy.
He's pissed in one of those scenes.
Yeah.
You know the scene on the boat before he kills one of the henchmen for no reason. That he's pissed.
He chose another guy in the water.
Yeah, him. He's drunk or he's high or something. He's slurring his words. Like it's anyway. That's beyond the point. That's such a good movie. That's so much fun. I'd highly recommend everyone go see it. If this is the one movie everyone should watch this month.
What I would say is, if you really want to see it, wait until it comes on streaming. But do not pay to go to see this movie, please. Go watch something else. Something that people have actually put an effort. Like, when will you see anyone else in this movie ever again?
I'm sure Michael Flatley will prance about once again.
I hope he's blacklisted.
Right, that's probably enough time. It wins Movie of the Month. But I want to know what Harry Styles thinks of it, though. Harry, what do you think?
I think what's so amazing about the film is that it's not... I don't think the intent... The intention of the film is to be really entertaining. And I think it's a really entertaining film.
Rightly said. Good man. Good man, Harry. Okay, we move on. You okay?
Please.
You okay? Sure. Do you know what's funny? As I hounded David just to go see this as well. I'm glad you did. Oh, I have some peer reviews as well, actually.
Yeah,
1 star, Kevin Lynch. When the cinema audience started laughing at the production company's logo, Dance Lord, it was clear how the next 90 minutes would go.
That was the other thing. That's probably the most packed the cinema has been this month to go see a movie.
See how they run for me was busier.
Okay.
David Tapley, 5 stars. I don't understand all the bad reviews. Avery, 0.5 stars. I watched this in hospital and it made me want to finish the job. And then our good friend John, 1.5 stars, who was texting me throughout the movie. And I kept saying, like, John, stop.
Focus.
Get back and watch this. He gave it 1.5 stars. He says, a movie so bad it could have been good, but it's so bad it's only meh. I want to see actually if there's any texts. Oh, there's some texts he sent me and it was just like, he would just be like, what is this now?
There's a bit where he's like with two other characters. A girl walks in and he tells her that he needs to be alone.
Yeah.
That's in the movie.
Oh no, John just said, the man cannot act and it makes every expression of his absolutely hilarious.
Do you remember we made the whole joke about Daniel Craig being a potato?
Yeah.
Michael Flatley's potato.
No, leave him alone.
He's a
national
potato.
treasure, David.
He's a potato. He's not even Irish.
He's a national treasure.
He's not even Irish.
Have you heard about... Look what he's done to the Irish dancing community. Anyway, look, we'll move on. Let's talk about October, baby. Oh, is that everything else? Are we done?
Yeah.
I think we're done. Okay, cool. Well, that's... Oh, yeah, what flight? Dublin to Paris at 5 p.m. on a Friday. Just after work. You want to improve your mood.
You want to get sick?
Yeah. Dublin to Paris, 5 p.m, baby. Okay, cool. Well, those are all of our awards, and we're going to talk about next month. Woman King. That looks interesting. Woman King is about this. It's about this African tribe and this all-female warrior unit who protected the West African kingdom of Dahomey in the 19th century, and it stars Viola Davis, and apparently it's very, very good.
John Boyega's in it.
John Boyega's in it. Apparently there's a lot of problematic stuff about it because the tribe themselves are much more vicious, and I think we're helped sell people into slavery and stuff.
That's sketch. They probably could have made it more fictional, couldn't they?
That's exactly what a lot of people are saying, is just make it about a tribe. Don't make it about a particular tribe. Yeah. So, but look, and it, as you know, it's supposed to do quite well. Apparently Viola Davis is incredible in it. So
could have made it about Wakanda.
They couldn't. Well, they already have the all-female.
Dara Milaje.
Yeah. And I can probably say it's probably Viola Davis's second best movie of the month of October. Because there's another one. Amsterdam, set in the 30s, it follows 3 friends who witness a murder and become suspects themselves and uncover one of the most outrageous plots in American history. David Russell, 1 billion people are in it that you know. Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and David John Washington star, and there's a load of other supporting casts that people would know. But apparently it's shite.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go see it anyway.
Yeah.
Gotta use that Omni Pass.
Just need to make sure. No, you need to confirm that it's bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah, I need to see it with my own eyes. And then there's Vengeance,
Yeah.
which is BJ Novak stars and directs. A writer from New York attempts to solve the murder of a girl he hooked up with and travels down south to investigate the circumstances of her death and discover what happened to her. Apparently, it's supposed to be quite good.
See, there you go. Like, this is a movie where the actor stars and directs or whatever. But, like, you can obviously tell that there was a lot more put into
I'm
this.
sensing double standards here.
What?
I think...
This is good.
To
I
you,
don't think BJ Novak is gonna
I think Blackbird's good.
is gonna fund his own movie.
That's true.
I don't think he's still living off that Office money.
He might be. Halloween Ends, the end of the Halloween saga. I still need to watch those other two movies. The 21st of October. A lot of big movies. The School for Good and Evil, out on Netflix, based on a thing maybe potentially. But it's about two best friends, and there's a school for good and evil, and they don't like each other.
The X-Men.
The X-Men. Then there's The Banshees of Inisherin. Two lifelong friends find themselves at an impasse, which, when one abruptly ends their relationship, went with alarming consequences for both of them.
Martin McDonagh.
Martin McDonagh, Colin Farrell,
Brendan
Brendan
Gleeson.
Gleeson, the Joker.
What a combination.
Can't fucking wait for
Barry
this.
Keoghan, Gary. Give him his rightful name.
Yeah, it's the Joker. It's the Penguin, the Joker, and then probably... I know what's his face is in Joker too. Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah. He plays the new commissioner.
I was thinking he plays Bullock. He's got a Bullock look about him.
Yeah.
Very excited for that.
Yeah.
21st of October. But there's probably another movie I'm going to watch that day instead.
They won in Venice, didn't they?
Yeah, well, no. I don't think it won Best Movie.
Colin Farrell won
Colin Farrell won Best Actor and it won Best Script. But I think Tar won Best Film. I'm not too sure. Bros, the 28th. Two men with commitment problems attempt a relationship. It's the first studio-funded gay rom-com. And it's apparently quite good. It's got 90% Rotten Tomatoes.
So Fire Island wasn't
studio funded. No, but studio funded that came out in the cinemas.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
like
fair.
it's the first properly distributed and released kind of thing. So that's quite good. Interesting. Then there's Barbarian, also at the 28th.
Yeah,
a young woman discovers the rental home she booked is already occupied by a stranger. And against her better judgment, she decides to spend the night, but soon discovers there's a lot more to fear than just an unexpected house guest.
You can't spell Barbarian without Airbnb.
That's a very good joke, David. I'm quite upset. I didn't notice that.
I've seen that on Letterboxd.
And then I know Dan from America, who's on the podcast before too, the French Connection, the China Syndrome. He wanted to give this movie of the month for October, but for September. It didn't come out in Ireland in September. But there's only one movie that's the 21st of October. Book your tickets now. Black Adam. Pierce Brosnan's movie, but I believe there's other people in it. But it's nearly 5,000 years ago when he was bestowed with the almighty powers of the Egyptian gods and imprisoned just as quickly. Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb, ready to unleash his unique form of justice on the modern world. It looks shite, but Pierce Brosnan, I can't wait.
It's supposed to be of the same quality of Batgirl.
Yeah, but that's good, isn't it?
It got cancelled this year.
So I guess out of those, what are you most looking forward to?
Seeing good things about Vengeance and Barbarian. They're probably the two that stand out. But there's a lot of good high standard movies there that I'm looking forward to seeing. Banshees is obviously another one, just more for what those actors and directors previously did. But yeah, again, I think there's only one you're considering.
Look, it's as much as it's a DC movie.
Yeah,
I saw a great TikTok of a guy being like, it's like the trailer for Black Adam where it's like, but you're a superhero, you're a good. It's like, I'm not that type of superhero. It's like, you'll save the world, or maybe I won't. I'm a bad guy, maybe.
Yeah, but The Rock is never the bad guy.
Yeah, Viola Davis, her best movie of the month. That was what I was alluding to.
Yeah.
Look, with Black Adam, I'm intrigued to see what they do. Pierce Brosnan looks fucking unreal as Dr. Fate. He looks like a cool dude. I'm interested in that power set. I know the other kind of heroes in it look quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of Dwayne The Rock Johnson nonsense though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sorry, Orla. But I think, if I'm picking a movie, if I could only see one of these movies, it's probably The Banshees.
Yeah.
I think that's it, David.
That's us.
We're done for September.
That's September.
We're never going to speak again because of Blackbird. But yeah, I want to say thanks to everyone for listening and for throwing in your reviews. It's much appreciated. If you want to throw in reviews, either on Letterboxd or on Instagram at Reading of the Peers. We got someone suggesting it or podcast, so me and Owen did that. So if you have any movies that you want to see podcasts on, or any guests you want to see come back, let me know. And I'll reach out to them and force them to do this and change the table like David is changing the table right now.
Help me, please.
But yeah, anything else? What else do we end this?
I have an important point. Fuck Michael Flatley.
David, it's like he's a national treasure. No. Right. Okay, well look, David, thanks for coming back and watching Blackbird, and thanks to everyone for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Let us know what you think about movies for the upcoming month. Stay safe. Watch Black Adam.
Does Harry won't say anything to...
Oh yeah, Harry, any final words to round us out?
Oh, he spat in my face.
I was just spitting everywhere.
He's like a goddamn llama.
He should be in the next Emperor's New Groove movie.